My guest today is the founder of O.S Man Tailor Made. He started this brand at the age of 21 with little experience or expertise in the tailoring or fashion industry, but through hard work and perseverance has grown it into a full bespoke tailoring luxury lifestyle brand that caters to South Africa's rich and famous. Please help me in welcoming Omar Osman. Omar, thanks so much for joining us today. Can't tell you how much of a pleasure it is to finally get down and sit down and chat with you.
Nice. No, I appreciate inviting me onto the show.
No, it's our pleasure. So obviously, you know, one of the big reasons why I wanted to chat to you, a big part of why I wanted to do this podcast, I've always been very interested in people that have sort of created their own brand. And that's exactly what you did. You created a brand from scratch, right? And we're going to get into that a little bit more. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the inspiration from the beginning, right? So you mentioned from the time you were in school, you had this idea of, you know, opening up a tailoring shop. Tell us a little bit about that. What started that drive or that inspiration onto this journey that you're on?
Yeah, so I wouldn't say from the time of when I was in school, I thought I'm going to be in the tailoring industry.
Okay.
No, I always had a passion for clothing, right? From school days, straight through university as well. I mean, from the time I was young, I think because my mother was always into clothing and stuff, so it just came down to me. So, I mean, it was always a passion of mine. I never expected it to be a business. After studying, I studied marketing. I worked with my father. He was also in the petrol business,
Okay.
as you are. It was, I mean, a good job, a good place to work, but there was no passion. There was no like, I'm going to work every day and I'm going to enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was, you were living a stable life. So I told my father, clothing is something that I really am interested in. So let me try. Let me leave this business and go out and venture on my own. And it was, I would say, a journey. When you're young, you're very focused on your own personal style.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a university kind of guy, then you're wearing T-shirts and tracks and stuff that's very casual. And I didn't even think about suits. I won't lie to you, I didn't think about
That's
suits at all. So we went around looking for places to have a physical store, and I found a place in Brooklyn. And we looked at the area, we looked at where we were at, we looked at the other stores that were in the area and what they were selling. And we said, okay, so it is going to be clothing, but let's focus more on a tailoring aspect because there aren't any tailors here.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a big learning curve. And then once I started, it was myself and a tailor and a cutter, or we call him our master tailor. So he's the one that would do the measurements and cut the fabric to your body size and then finish it off. And I spent, I would say, almost a year where we had minimal business. Where I mean minimal, I could leave my store, go away for 2 hours and come back and everything would be there because nobody would walk in. That's what it was. And of course I marketed it as much as I can, but as a new business with a small budget, there's just that much you can get out there. So I started approaching people I knew would have an event or a wedding or a matric dance or
Mm-hmm.
a university graduation, whatever it is, a need for a suit. And if it was somebody that I knew, I would tell them, come make a suit with me. If you don't like it, don't pay.
Oh, okay.
And
That's
it started off like that. And once people saw what we could do and saw, I would say not many people were tailoring at that stage. This is about 12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people were going and buying off-the-rack suit from different brands, from Hugo Boss, from Tiger of Sweden. Tiger of Sweden was actually very popular at that time. So I based my fit off that kind of a fit, a slim fit, and I tried to better it. And once guys started seeing what we can do, we started building from there. And once I saw momentum grow with that, with the tailoring aspect, carried on learning in that field and carried on expanding our tailoring offering. And now I would say we do a full kind of I mean, anything tailor-made from scratch, whether it's formal wear, casual wear, whether it's a shoe.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't matter what it is. So we've become, let's say, a lifestyle tailoring brand. And for me, I really, really enjoy that aspect of it all. Like seeing somebody wearing your clothes on a daily basis, wearing it to gym, wearing it to, it gives you a lot of happiness.
No, that's great, man. It's sort of like that instant gratification that you're getting back. Like a lot of guys, and I know we speak about it a lot. We spoke a lot about mental well-being on the podcast and everything. I guess, in other industries, you're not seeing that immediate feedback, right? So you're doing, a piece of work and you're sending it off to somebody. You might not necessarily get that, hey, well done, your work was excellent, sort of thing. But in this sort of scenario, client is fitting on the suit, they're loving it, you're seeing that immediately. So I guess it's a real perk getting that instant gratification.
Seeing a lot of people come in with like low self-confidence, not happy with the way that I look. It's now my wedding day or a big day in my life and I need to look good, but I'm not happy with my body shape. I feel like I'm overweight, or I feel like I'm too short, or I feel like I'm this. So of course you can't change a body shape, but you can do in certain aspects of tailoring, you can make someone look taller, you can make someone look skinnier, you can do all these things to make them look their best. And when you see how they look versus, I mean, in the regular clothes that they came in, you can see that happiness, and yeah, it's a great feeling. No, it's one of the best parts of doing this thing. It's when you can, especially if you see someone who doesn't have confidence and you can see the clothes you made have given them confidence. That's a great feeling of it all. Yeah.
No, excellent, man. I want to go back to what you mentioned, right? You mentioned that there was a time, for 6 months or so where things were just very quiet. I'm sure that must have been excruciating to a point, right? I think a lot of people that are going into business, that's always that bit of a big fear. I'm going to start, I have no sort of a market share in the industry. I'm sure there was a point in that where you just went, you know what, this was a mistake, right?
Yeah, of
How
course.
did you get over that point? Like, okay, you know what, this was a mistake. How do you get to that point where you're like, okay, no, you know what, this is not a mistake, and essentially push through that barrier? Explain to us, your mindset during that time and how you managed to push yourself through that.
So yeah, I mean, there is, of course, you feel a lot of the times like, I shouldn't have done this, or you know what, there's so much going wrong at a certain time, or a customer is not happy, cash flow is not where it needs to be. There's so many challenges with business. I would say is that you just have to push through. If you have to sacrifice, if you have a nice car and you can sell it and reduce and you can get a car that's cheaper, but you can build your cash flow with that extra money, you do it. There's a lot of things. If your house is, for example, if you're renting and it's 20 grand a month, and you can reduce it to 10 grand a month, whatever extra you can get, whatever extra you can save to put into your business, is that what you have to do it at that specific stage. It's a lot of sacrifice to get past that 5-year or 10-year stage to say, well, my business is stable now and it can expand, or I feel comfortable in my life. I have what I need essentially in terms of material possessions or whatever. But at that stage, everyone's journey is different. But for me, what I did is that I just pushed marketing as much as I can. I offered free products. I offered suits at a discounted rate. I offered the thing where you don't pay until you're happy. I just did whatever I can so that my product was in somebody's hands. I wasn't really worried about the income I was going to get after that. No. At that stage, I just wanted my product out there because the product could actually do the talking. If somebody saw your suit, where did you get that suit? It's a good looking piece. And then from there, build.
And it just shows also that you got to really believe, like, I like the way you said that, is your product will do the talking. I think a lot of people, go into ventures and say, I think this is what people want at the moment, so let me do that, but they don't really have that absolute belief in that product. I think the fact that you had that trust in your product, I think is probably what made the difference.
Like, having the trust in your product is, if you feel like I'm selling something that's not perfect or not great or subpar, you wouldn't have the confidence to say, take it now and pay me after. So a lot of work has to come into saying that the product is perfect. And I feel like the main thing I've done in my business over the years is that I started off with a quality of suit or quality of clothing that was average. It was what my tailors knew. It was what was in the market in South Africa. It was the average quality. And I could keep it at that quality and I could keep it at that price point, or I could go up and up and up and up and just try to better my product as much as I can so that I could charge a higher price point. And that's what I did. So I had a lot of, I would say, years and years of challenges with the tailoring aspect of it all. Is that if you look at a suit or if you look at a piece of clothing as you do with a car, everything is like, I mean, one brand of a car is going to be different to another brand.
Yeah.
One brand is going to be more, let's say, a lot more detail in it. If you're looking at a Rolls-Royce or a Bentley versus a Toyota, yes, a Toyota is a good car, but you're not going to say, okay, I mean, if I had to choose between the one is better than the other one,
Yeah.
right? And for that reason, the price of the one can be higher than the other one. So I felt in the same way, like, my quality can go up. I can use a higher quality fabric. I can use better workmanship, more detail into my suit to say that my quality and my product is a better quality and better product than my competitors or anyone else in the market. And that's what I mean, till now, I try to just continue to better the product so that I know I have full confidence in it. That if somebody comes to me now and shows me my suit or shows me a suit that's better made than mine in South Africa or even internationally, I'll go to my guys and I'll say, open this, see what these guys have done. Let's work backwards and recreate
and
this.
use it, yeah.
So, I mean, we used a lot of inspiration from several road tailors, like guys that have been doing this for 200 years or so. You can only learn so much, I mean, for how much you've been operating. So if I'm operating for 12 years, somebody with 200 years experience has so much more
Naturally,
knowledge. So whenever, and sometimes we get lucky, somebody would bring like a piece of a Savile Row suit to us and we would just inspect it like to the max and say, okay, this is how they do it this way. Our product can go to this way. Yes, it's going to take a lot more time, but let's get it to this level. And for me, if you do that and you just keep on bettering your product, you can never have, let's say, the lack of confidence in it. You'll always feel like it's out there. Like till now, I feel our quality of product, it does the talking. Like I have no doubt in it. And a lot of the time, I feel like you can just stay stagnant and stay where you are and carry on with that because you know the cost of that specific product will be low, but you wouldn't be able to expand or grow your business. You would just be stuck where you are.
A big theme of our podcast, prior episodes have been obviously about people that, we spoke about going into your own businesses. We spoke about people, not comfortable in studies and so on and so forth, right? I find your situation quite interesting because you mentioned marketing and how you marketed the brand. And as you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, you studied marketing, right? When you went into your degree, was that the idea that you wanted to go into a degree that you could use in any sort of industry? And also, what has been the benefit of having that marketing background in going into this venture?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say my plan was never set. I've never been somebody that had a set plan from the start. Marketing did call out to me. Initially, I wanted to be a journalist or a writer. That was the first thing. And then I started university, and I kind of just moved away from that and moved into the marketing kind of field. And once I got into that, I really enjoyed it. It was a world that I didn't know existed. The marketing of products, the marketing of brands, the marketing of people. The idea of that, I mean, advertising is one aspect of the whole marketing kind of a thing. So marketing can come down to scent, it can come down to look, it can come down to atmosphere, it can come down to everything. So when I studied and when I learned and when I was done, I felt like, I mean, this knowledge can go to work in two ways. I can go work for a firm, I can go work and pursue the marketing industry, and when I'm ready, possibly start my own marketing firm, or I can just, again, use my passion, which was clothing, and build a brand using this marketing knowledge. And it does help. It's helped a lot throughout the whole building of a brand process. Like, I would say, if I didn't have the marketing knowledge, my brand would be nowhere where nowhere where it is now currently. There's a lot that I learned, and I mean that I implemented into building the brand's awareness and stuff. And I feel once you have a brand gives value. So as your brand builds, you can again, like, I mean, if you, for example, wanted to go to Louis Vuitton now, the price is the price. I mean, and whether you feel the quality is good enough for that price or not, it doesn't really matter, because the brand holds a lot of that value as well.
Yeah.
So an item can be made of something that's cheap or synthetic, but because the brand holds value, the
you're
perception.
Paying for the name, like what that common saying is, you're paying for the name.
You're paying for the name.
Yeah.
So that's what I feel is that building a brand, it takes a lot of money, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort, and once you've established a brand, you've got a lot more value that you can, let's say, move around. And it's so, for me, building the brand even till now, it's nowhere where it can be. There's still a lot of potential where it can reach, and I feel like you just have to carry on growing and growing and growing. So I mean, I will never stop marketing. Like, if I had even a bigger marketing budget, I will continue to increase and continue to increase, because just the realization of the power of the brand is excellent. Like, it's something that you don't really see until you actually see when it's become a thing. People come from far and wide because I've seen your brand, or I've seen this, I've seen the work, and
I think it's a very underrated thing in business.
it's a very
actually.
underrated thing, true.
You know, you made a very interesting point there when you spoke a little bit about your dad, and you said obviously you had that backing that really, was a game changer. I think a lot of people try and shy away from that, right? And it actually it brought about this memory of one of my favorite shows. Is I don't know if you've ever watched it, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? It's a bit of an older show for our younger generation. So during the show, there was an episode where the son wants to sort of do something on his own, and he's making sure that he doesn't ask his uncle for it, right? And the uncle said something very important. He said, "People have opened doors for me, and I use that to open doors for you," right? I think, just generally, people want to have that whole thing of, I did it myself without getting that help. But if you had to speak to the audience and those people there, how important it is to take those advantages whenever you get that opportunity. I think that's something that's very overlooked in business.
Yeah, so having your father or having someone older as guidance, or as a mentor, or as someone that's a part of your business is, for me, I would say one of the best things that happened to me is that having my father there. My father is currently with me in my business as well.
Lovely.
He's no more in the fuel industry, and we made a decision a few years ago, and he's joined, and he's a full part of my business now. And having the knowledge and the experience that they have, no matter what, no matter who you are, you feel like, you know what, I've got a perfect product, I've got a perfect business, I've got this. If you get someone who has a lot more experience, or it doesn't matter in what sector of business, a lot more life experience, you would have guidance that you can't, no matter what you feel, or no matter where you look for it, you wouldn't find that guidance elsewhere. It's something that, for me, like there's no better role model. I'm lucky I have my father. Even though you might have a degree, you might have this, you might have done great in school, it doesn't matter. That experience only comes being in business for 20 or 30 years, knowing the kinds of people that they are out there. And I would say just listen to whoever you can as an older guidance, as a mentor. having anyone in that stage, it doesn't have to be a parent, but just having someone who's older who can guide you
Can make all the difference.
is a great thing to have if you're going to go that route.
Oh, I like that. This is actually a phrase that I've used quite often on this podcast, actually becoming one of my favorite quotes. I heard it on a podcast recently, and the quote goes that stagnation is equal to regression. I think in the fashion industry, that is probably very accurate, right? How do you guys keep up with this ever-changing industry and the challenges of the fact that it's always growing, it's always moving?
Yeah, it's to compete in the fashion industry. That's really difficult. How I look at it, our brand is that we don't really follow the trends. We would rather do. I mean, if a guy came in and he wanted a suit that was the style of the 70s, yes, it can be done. In terms of our own personal stuff, or let's say our brand image that we put out there, yes, you have to keep on evolving. COVID came and changed and rattled our business a lot. So I would say before COVID, most tailoring, and even us, we were focused mainly on the formal aspect of it. So suits and shirts and formal clothing. Once COVID came and then the whole world became casual, we were selling no suits. Like essentially, I mean, there was no need for anybody to wear a suit. There was no events. There was no going to work. There was nothing. So the suits, declined fully. There was no business. So we had to adapt. And from there, and that's what I look at it as a blessing, is that we went fully into lifestyle clothing, into everything, into shorts, into jeans, into T-shirts, into whatever it is. And it just opened so much more doors for us. So with something we thought which was going to be our downfall, actually really expanded the business a lot.
I agree with you. And I think the ability to be able to, pivot and remain fluid is, again, so important. I think a lot of people, have that one track mind or that focus to say, you know what, I'm a suit brand. This is what we do. But I think, you need to be able to, in any industry, not necessarily just fashion, you need to be able to move and stay fluid and sort of go with the times.
You do. You can just stay, if you have a working recipe, of course, and nothing in your business has changed, yes. I mean, some aspects or some businesses can just keep on doing one product and stick with it. But yeah, you're right. In the fashion industry, you just have to keep on changing, have to keep on adapting. And for me, that's what I look at it in terms of, I spend a lot of time whenever I can traveling around the world to just see and purchase new fabrics and learn. When we started going in the higher end of the market, we learned about a lot of exclusive fabrics that are just available in remote parts of the world that are very hard to get access to. And if you have it, people are willing to pay huge amounts for it and stuff. So to learn and to adapt, it's something that, again, is essential for the business. Yes, in terms of us, our trends would keep on changing with the times, but more to let's say, not say stagnant, is we keep on giving more offerings. And I think that works quite well with our customers.
Oh, excellent. What message would you like people to take away from this interview today? And who specifically would you like to direct that message towards?
So, for me, anyone who wants to start out in the clothing business, or anyone who feels like it's a passion of theirs and it's something that has been a plan, or it's going to be a plan for them, what I would say is you've got to work hard. It's the obvious thing, you've got to work hard, but you have to know what you are doing. And you can only know what you're doing once you're in the business. And with that, I would say it's a journey for everyone. Everybody is different, but put your faith in God. For me, that's the number one advice. Do what you can to make your customers happy, or to just get yourself started. Research as much as you can, travel as much as you can, do whatever you can. Whenever you have free time, go into a shop, look at the clothes, open a jacket, look at the inside. Just learn as much as you can about clothing, and then take a leap. It doesn't matter what kind of a leap, if it's a small leap or a big leap, just start out making one item or buy a sewing machine. Do whatever you can to just, I would say, get started. Once you get started, from there, the journey, again, it's different for everyone, but if you carry on working as hard as you can to get your product out there and you better a product. If every day, for example, you spent an hour tailoring, if it wasn't, I mean, you studying something or you working, but if every day you spent an hour tailoring or making clothes or spending time with a sewing machine, or just even starting from scratch, just learning a YouTube video, going online, saying how to sew, and starting off somewhere. And once you get started, build onto that. That's I would say is the advice for anyone starting out in the clothing industry, is that put your faith in God and get started with the work.
Lovely. A question that I found quite fun, and I've been very excited to hear the different responses, is if you had to write or release an autobiography today, what would the title of that autobiography be?
Yeah, so we did speak about this beforehand.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be called Tales of a Tailor.
Oh, I love that.
It's something that, yes, I've always thought about. There's a lot of stuff that I've seen. I mean, it's a small amount of years, but in this time, there's a lot that you see. There's a lot of stories that you get, and I think, yeah, I mean, it's always been something that I thought about. I told you initially, I mean, writing is something that I do have a passion for. So maybe one day, maybe when I've got 50 years of experience.
I really enjoyed this. It's been such a pleasure having you on the podcast. I know we're going to probably chat to you many more times, but thank you so much for joining us and sharing this journey. I found it very insightful.
Thanks, Ibi. No, it was great coming in here, and no, I appreciate you having me.
No, always a pleasure. Well, that's our show. Another very insightful interview where we got to speak to Omar about the creation of the brand, the passion behind the brand itself, and of course, the trust in the product. Once again, we spoke about failures and the ability to overcome those early jitters and those early struggles. Thank you once again for joining us on Chat EbT. Until next time.